Hola mi gente, this is Heidi and welcome once again to my channel. Today I am going to do some food prep and meal prep because if you follow me on Instagram, you already know that I spend a lot of time cooking every day and I'm trying to be more productive, so that's why I decided to do some meal prep today. I'm trying to do everything in 2 hours or less, so whatever I get done, and hopefully you can find some inspiration in this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to start washing all my produce, and I used to wash it only with water, but recently I watched a video where this lady washed it with a little bit of vinegar too, so I'm using that as well. And I'll soak it here for a few minutes, then rinse it and just set it out there to dry. I'm going to start making some basmati rice and some quinoa, and my secret to make delicious and perfect rice and quinoa is to follow the packaging instructions. It varies from one rice to another, but for the quinoa it's pretty much always the same: 2 parts water and 1 part quinoa, and adding some salt to taste. I'm adding the quinoa while the water is still cold and wait for the water to boil. Quinoa water is already boiling, so I am going to lower the heat to low and put the lid on it. Then let this simmer for about 20 minutes. I started making basmati rice a few weeks ago and I've been loving it. I feel it's so much fluffier than the parboiled rice that I was eating before, and it's so much lighter to eat. If you haven't tried it, I totally recommend it. It calls for 2 parts water, 1 part rice, and I am making 2 cups of rice, which is more than enough for her son and I for the whole week. Now that it came to a rolling boil, I'm going to lower the heat to low, put the lid on, and let it steam for 20 minutes as well. This is not part of the meal prep, but I am so hungry, so I am going to make myself a milkshake with mango pulp, a banana, some organic strawberries, vanilla soy milk, and maple syrup. As you will notice in the rest of this video, I don't really cook with recipes that much. I just get inspiration from whatever I have in the fridge, and I try to use up all of my fruit and veggies and not let things go to waste. By now my quinoa is ready, so I'm just going to fluff it up a little and take it off the heat. My rice is also ready, and let's just take a second to admire how fluffy this rice is. I'm going to prep all the onion halves that I had in the fridge already opened. in all the different ways that I think I might use onion this week. I know it might seem a little weird, but trust me, if you have your veggies and your fruit already prepped, imagine how much faster you can eat or you can cook during the week. I am planning to slice some, dice some, and shred some. And I know it also sounds weird to shred onions, but believe me, if you stay until the end of the video, you'll find out what I use it for, and it's genius. I am going to bake a few veggie bacon strips for a recipe that I am going to make later today. And this is the brand that I like, and honestly the only one that I've ever tried, the Morningstar brand. Now I am going to spin the lettuce that I have been soaking in water for a little bit. And let me tell you, I think that a salad spinner is such a useful tool to have in your kitchen. If you're spinning your salad, for example, your lettuce, you can leave it in the fridge for a whole week and it will stay fresh, and you can make yourself a dinner in like 2 minutes. Make yourself a nice salad with any protein you want on top. It's amazing. I totally underestimated the time it would take me to meal prep all of these, and by now I am completely exhausted. So we are going to put away all of these produce that is dry by now. And I like to use either plastic containers or Ziploc bags and line them with paper towel because I feel it helps all of these fruits and veggies stay fresh longer. It's a new day and I am going to bake a few things, so I am going to set the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and start making some granola. I used the Laura Vitale recipe, and I am going to link that below in case you want exact measurements. But I only use this as a guideline because I adjust the amount of sugar and the amount of oil. I do a little less than she calls for. And I also use whatever nuts and dry fruits I have at home. As you can see here, I am mixing all of the dry ingredients together first. So this is 4 cups of old-fashioned oats, less than a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. In a separate bowl, I am going to mix together the wet ingredients, which are less than half a cup of vegetable oil, half a cup of honey, and half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I am going to mix this together until it is well combined, and then I will mix it together with all of the dry ingredients. I just want to take a moment to mention that this is the best granola I have ever tasted. And believe me, I am sort of a granola professional because I eat granola every day for breakfast, and I haven't had anything better. None of the granolas I've tried from the store or other recipes are as great as this. So I totally recommend it. And if you make this or any other recipe that I made in this video, please tag me so that I can see that you made it. I am spreading this out on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and I am going to bake this for about 15 minutes and then give it a toss and check on it. In the past few weeks, I've caught myself a few times running out the door wishing I had something that I could just grab and go. Even granola takes a minute at least because you have to pour the milk and the fruit and everything. So I decided to make these egg muffins, and I am cracking open a dozen eggs, and I am going to add a 2-finger pinch of salt per egg because this is how my mom taught me and it works perfectly every time. Then add some black pepper and a splash of milk. I hardly ever have cow's milk at home, so I'm using soy milk. I'm going to mix all of this together until it is well combined, and then I'm going to pull out my Dollar Tree muffin tins. I've had these for at least 3 years and they're still looking and working fine. I am spraying them with oil and then adding some of the veggies that we prepped yesterday. I am using some of the diced onions, some spinach, some of the bacon that I baked last night, and some cheese. Then I am filling it to the top with eggs. I am going to bake these for 15 to 20 minutes at 350 Fahrenheit. In all reality, you have to be checking on it because basically you just want it to be all the way cooked. By now the granola has been baking for about 15 minutes, so I'm going to give it a toss because the outer parts cook faster than the inner parts, so you want to toss it around to make it even and then put it back in the oven for 15 more minutes. Meanwhile, I am going to crush some nuts. I have pecans and almonds, so I'm going to use that, and I'm going to use some leftover I have from before, as well as some raisins. Egg muffins have been baking for 20 minutes and they seem to be ready, so I'm going to take them out and put them in a cooling rack. I hardly ever bake, but I think I should do it more often because my kitchen is smelling amazing right now. I always try to make a legume for the week, and this week I am making my favorite, which is lentils. And I feel that a lot of people don't know how to cook lentils, they just boil it. And today I'm showing you the right way to make lentils. Basically, you just saute some onions on any oil you have. I'm using olive oil over medium-high heat. And I am also adding some peppers, the celery and carrots that I chopped yesterday, 2 teaspoons of diced garlic, a little bit of salt, and I also found half a can of corn in the fridge, so I'm adding that too. Basically, I just use whatever veggies I have at hand. The most important thing that you should always use is onions and garlic. After about 5 minutes, I am going to add my lentils, which I have previously rinsed. Now I'm going to add some seasonings, some salt, some oregano. I also found some cumin, and I think it will go good with this. Some McKay's chicken seasoning, the last bit that I have. Basically looking around to see whatever I think could go with this. And I'm going to add a little bit of cayenne pepper to give it a little kick. As you have probably noticed, I have a pot of water boiling in the back. And this is essential to the recipe because what I want to do is pour 1 to 2 cups of water at a time and just stir around and wait about 5 minutes until the lentils consume this water. You don't want to add more water than the lentils will take. So you just want to repeat this process over and over about 4 or 5 times until you reach the right consistency and your lentils are cooked all the way. I found some veggie stock in my fridge and I'm gonna use that too. I'm gonna add it to my water that is boiling in the back and add it to the lentils as well. You can always use veggie stock instead of water, but water is completely fine as well. I found some cilantro in the fridge that was looking a little sad, so I'm adding it to the soup to give it a new life. Whenever the lentils are fully cooked and you have the consistency that you desire, I know that some people like it more watery, some people like it more dry, then your lentils are ready. And you just need to add a splash of lime or vinegar and some olive oil. Every time I show a picture of my tuna balls on Instagram, some of you ask me, and here's the recipe, I'm making it today. Basically, I'm using the yellowfin tuna that we get at Costco, but you can use any kind of tuna that you want. I am going to mix it together with the half an onion that we shredded yesterday and basically you just season it however you want. But for the sake of the recipe, I actually measured what I used. I used half a teaspoon of salt and a quarter of a teaspoon of all the rest of the ingredients, which were chili powder, paprika, oregano, black pepper, and garlic powder. I'm going to mix this very well and taste it to see if it's well seasoned. After you reach the seasoning level that you want, you're going to add a splash of lime. I just wanted to mention that at this point, this is gonna taste a lot like onions, but don't worry about it. Since they are shredded, they are going to completely disappear, and the strong flavor of the onion is gonna go away as well. At this point, I should be adding an egg, but I'm adding the equivalent of an egg using the leftover eggs that we had scrambled earlier. I'm going to add some breadcrumbs until it reaches a consistency in which I can shape it into a ball. This took 3 1/8 of a cup measuring cups, so there you go, but basically however much you need. Then I am going to shape this into little balls. This next part is completely optional, but I like to cover them in breadcrumbs so they can be really crunchy on the outside and softer on the inside. I am going to repeat this process until I am done with my mixture. I am frying them in vegetable oil over medium-high heat. And basically they just have to be golden brown on both sides. And I like to place them on paper towel after so they can drain some of that excess oil. Here's everything that I was able to meal prep for the week, and I am so happy with the results. I already served it in containers and mason jars so we can have it ready to go for each meal. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you got a lot of inspiration. Please leave me a comment telling me what was your favorite recipe, and if you have any questions or any video requests, let me know. God bless you. Have an awesome week. See you next week with another video.